All right, today we got a Tesla Model 3. This is a 2022, and we already started with some of the mods. We had the spoiler in the back. Next up is we're gonna do the power frunk. Now, what is a power frunk? Essentially, when you open the frunk of your car, it'll be like any normal car. You open it, and then you would have to use your hands to pull it up, and then the dampers take control of it. Let's just demonstrate that real quick. See? You just pull up, and then you have those two gas struts right there that helps. But what if you need to close it? Now, if you have to close it, you have to do this. You have to do this. And you have to... Oh, it hurts my feelings doing that. And now you have fingerprints. If you have OCD, you have to bring out the microfiber cloth, and just that alone makes you not want to use the frunk. But hey, if you had a power frunk, like a power lift gate in the front, then you can put all your whatever, if you had like food or something like that, groceries, and you say, hey, it might stink up the interior, you put it in the frunk and you're good. Now, what we have here is the Hansshow power frunk core technology. This is the frunk, and it's really nice. These are like the fourth generation actually, so they really tuned this to be something else, and the install should be relatively easy. All right, so the tools you're gonna need is a 10 mil to take some bolts out. You have a flathead. I actually don't have the flathead right here, but it's something to pry open stuff. So whether it's a flathead screwdriver or plastic trim tool, that's what I'm gonna use. The needle nose you're gonna need to use for a spring, and then this is just like a cutting tool. So I have two cutting tools, and to cut zip ties and miscellaneous items. But yeah, nothing too crazy. You really just need these two and maybe like a flathead, and you'd be set. I'm gonna use some power tools so it'll be quicker. Color, but looks fine. All right, to remove the trunk or the frunk, there's just gonna be some tools that you don't even need. You just use your hands. You want to start with these plastic trims, and they're just held by these plastic clips. These cars are generally new, so these plastic clips are very, well, they're new, so you're not gonna have it be brittle. Set this to a side here. Next off, we have some exposed things we can work on. I believe we're gonna have to remove this piece right here. And you actually see some exposed bolts straight up. So we're gonna have to remove that too, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. But before you remove this big piece, you have to remove this air filter. And it's just helped. Okay, this one's not big. This one was even clipped on. Okay, I'm gonna test the quality. They didn't even clip that one on. You hate to see it, folks. So there you go. You got 3 mounting points. You got 2 out of 3. Good job, Tesla. Put this to the side. And then we use our 10 mil to remove. I'm going to tell you where all the bolts are. So just get a 10, wherever 10 may be. So 10. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 right there, and then there's only 1 up top here. I thought there were 6, but it looks like maybe they changed it. Or maybe it's under here. So you just pull on this. There you go. So what I did right there, you see I'm just using my hands. You just pull this up, and it's gonna reveal the other 2. So there's 7 of these bolts in total. And to remove this is pretty easy. You just should just be there you go. Put this somewhere safe. We're gonna put it over here in the shade section. All right, so we have those 7 bolts removed. So the next thing we need to do is gently lift. I haven't even used this pry tool yet. I'm just using my hands. And yeah, I have the tools in there. You can take them out if you want. Just slowly fish it out. Now these side pieces are going to be held by clips, so you might have to pull some of these plastic clips off. All right, so my microphone quality should sound better. My microphone's actually facing me now. But yeah, check this out right here. We're gonna replace these these dampers right here. Now if you see at the very top, there's gonna be this little metal tool, like a little metal clip. You wanna pry that open. Let me just demonstrate that for you guys right here. You wanna go whoop, and you just pull it out. You see that? You're pulling it right out. Now there's one on the top, one on the bottom. The bottom one's exactly the same. And after that, you're gonna put this bad boy in here. And you see how this is, I had to actually twist it, but you can twist it. But you have this one pointing here, and then the bottom one is pointing the opposite direction. And you want the wire to actually go in. So something like that. So this is how you ideally want it. So I'm gonna demonstrate that in real time and see how it goes. I'm gonna do the bottom one first because it's kind of like difficult to reach. Usually you wanna hit the more difficult part. So like, watch. I took that out. Looks like it's being held on its own, which is perfect. So you wanna do one side at a time. Sometimes the struts aren't strong enough, so you kind of have to use your head, which I was doing earlier, to make sure it doesn't fall and you get a concussion. But it looks like these struts are strong enough. Boom. You have your struts. Now you want to keep this safe just in case you revert back to stock. So we're going to put this, we'll put it in this bad boy for now. Now to put it in, it's actually even easier. You just push it in. So I'm going to push the bottom one in first. You shouldn't need to use the clip. You hear like a clunk. You hear a nice satisfying clunk. So now this one's in. You do the same for the opposite side. Just remember, you want that wire to be on the inside. Alright, so I actually didn't know this, but you're supposed to change the brackets. So this is, I'm gonna probably show this beforehand, but I'm gonna take out the OEM brackets. It's probably easier to take the strut out first, but we're having problems with that, so just gonna take it out how it is. Two bolts there, and then two bolts. Not a lot of installs actually have this, so that's why we didn't do it, but for this, you gotta. It wasn't closing for us. Alright, so we got the L brackets. There's a number L on it, and you want to install the new bracket in. So use the original hardware to screw it in. I'm gonna do it loosely for now, and then you want to install these ones, of course, too. There's just two bolts. Be careful, you don't want to lose these bolts because it will take a lot of time finding these bolts if you miss them, which I might do right now because this is a really bad angle. Yes. Alright, so the next thing we want to do here is with the directions. It says we should remove the latch mechanism. So we have it right here. I'm just going to remove it. Keep these screws safe. Alright, so we're going to replace the spring right here, which is right here. Now you can keep the OEM spring if you don't have a needle nose or you want the OEM part, but we're going to basically essentially replace it with this. The aftermarket one is smaller in like gauge depth, so maybe it's a little bit weaker, but because of that intention, it's quieter. So we're going to remove this bad boy. Hopefully I don't pinch myself. Go. So I took that part out. Try to take this part out. Okay, I was scared that this thing was gonna fly out my eyes, but it was pretty tame. Pretty tame. So now we're putting the new one in. Oh, it locked. You unlock Let me see if I can do it. So now, right now the latch is locked, so I don't know if I can pull it all the way back. Oh, I can. But the car thinks it's closed. Alright, so I actually had to undo the spring because when I'm putting this mechanism on, which is what helps with the soft close, you the direction says you want to look into the, you want to have this little piece right here kind of go up like this. Oh, and it closed. And then I'm gonna put the spring on top of that to kind of help secure it. So it's something more like that. After that's done, you should be okay. And that's the motor. And you can kind of see how it works. It pulls down this latch to help unlock and lock. Then we're gonna install it, something like this. And we should be all good to go. Alright, so we got the little mounting system for the front latch on. We have those two struts on right now. And then we have this computer. This is how everything's gonna talk together. Make sure that it's working nicely. So the box itself is just one big harness that like feeds into this one thing. So which is right there. So you pretty much have to power every single piece. There is a lot of wires and it gets kind of confusing. So I'll make it as easy as possible. So just unravel it and do it one at a time. Okay. So that's the first thing we should do is something simple. Is let's get there's the power wires, we can get power, but let's get the struts powered. So the struts have these two little wires coming out of it, and you can't mess it up because it's like Legos. It only clips to the right one. So you just clip these bad boys in. Boom. And boom. Alright, you already got two. Same with the other side. Alright, so we have the new lithium ion ones, and pretty much there is no 10 mil that you can screw on. So in this case, all we did was use this cap and we put it's on there pretty good, but we put the red terminal into here. It's the wire with the fuse, and it's on there really good where it's like super tight. So it's on there really good. And then next off, what we need to do out of the harness, so there's these extra ones, which I'll show you guys where to go for those. And then there's the ground one. You can just pick one of these ground spots. I think this one's like the usual, the go-to right here. So what you do is you basically use this as a washer, and there you have it right there. Now if you have a normal battery, not the lithium ion one, you just use this. You do the same thing with that wire. You loosen that 10 mil. All right, so we got pretty much a few cables left, two diagnostic, pretty much, and we're gonna have to figure out one by one which one it does. The first one you want to get, that's pretty easy to see, is the one on the latch. So you pull this, and then you pull it out. This one looks like it. So you plug in this, hoping it would fit. It doesn't, of course. Oh, it does. And then you want to use that end right there to put it back into here. So now the wire is basically right in between the two, which is exactly what you want. Alright, so then there's this, you see this little hose thing right here. It's kind of hard to see. You might have to make it a little bit brighter, or it looks good. You pull this out by just pulling this tab up, pulling it out, and then look, the wires look the same. That's good. So there's like a little Y shape. So what you want to do is put this in here, and then the new Hansshow harness into the Tesla. Alright, and then you have this plug right here goes into the new latching system. All right, so we pretty much have everything plugged in besides two. Now this one is the OEM switch button. We're actually gonna now use the Hansshow one, which is this one. So we don't have to worry about that one, but this one needs to be plugged in as well. And that's a pretty chunky looking cable, this one right here. We're gonna plug it in. Boom. Set that to the side. And these things are pretty good in terms of water resistance and waterproofing. We're gonna plug in this bad boy. And now to do that, you might have to pull on this tab. Then it should go in. Yeah. Move this in, and then you lock it. What's that noise? That noise is the noise of it getting power, which is great, which is what we want. And yeah, so right now we have kind of everything set up. We just have to mount these into certain areas, and I'll show you where to mount them, because they're pretty specific to keep it from running into issues. I know this box, people generally mount it like underneath here, and they use that double-sided tape to kind of hold it. But this one is like the really important one to position. All right, so we're kind of managing these wires. So for the box right here, we're gonna apply some 3M double-sided tape, or whatever this is called, just double-sided tape, and we're gonna put it in the front cross beam for directions. And if down here you'll see like a steel or aluminum, some kind of metal cross beam. That's where you're gonna install it to. Get out of the way. It's pretty deep, but you'll see it. Put pressure on it for like 15 seconds. Oh, this car doesn't have without radar. All right, so that's on. And then for this, there was no place to really put it. I'm gonna put it right here to see how that works for now. There, and we are gonna test the trunk closing for the first time. We're just gonna press that button. More on the slower side, but you know, that's pretty safe. And yeah, there you go, look at it, it's pretty good. Here's my finger. Can't fit it through any here. It's pretty even, consistent all the way through. Yeah, I mean, looks great. Can you, I can hold it if you want to open it. You can see the opening process. Yeah, you guys can be the judge for the fitment right there. And you can always adjust the latch and everything to make the fitment even better. And boom, it works. That's great. It's a great thing to see, guys. All right, there it is, boys. Tesla Model 3 2022. We just got this delivered, and now it has a Hannshow's power frunk. Open that. Ooh-wee. Now it's a space you can use. Very clean install. Close it. And of course, like, I'm just an average guy. I don't really know how to install this stuff, but hey, it works. And I was able to do it myself with some help, and with this YouTube video, hopefully it will make it a little bit easier for you guys. Hey, can you open the trunk and the frunk? Just so people can see the speeds. Oh. There it is, that's tight. Can you close both? Try to do it at the same time if you can. It's that easy. About the same speed. About the same speed, not bad. That's cool, look at that. Oh, that's tight. Yeah, links down below if you guys were planning to buy this product right here. This is from Hansshow. They specialize in a bunch of Tesla parts, whether it's Model S, X, 3, Y. They definitely have you covered. Now, if you guys are interested, make sure you like this video because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. So make sure you smash that like button and hit a comment down below so I can continue making Tesla stuff. Now my channel really revolves around cars and like radios. I do have an NSX, I have a Model S myself, but of course Teslas, I'm not really into like making videos, but maybe you like this, just smash that like button, it helps me out a lot. And you'll see more of this cars or Model S and the 3. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.